Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind, there find the key to nature's harmony, in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love everlasting, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, in the wonder of everything. Peace is what I've done, stir the bird to death, peace is in the dance of trees who stir before the first breath of wind is yet received. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of life long past the touch are written in the earth, ever giving. And now to maintain the harmony gives to us all life's worth living, in the oneness of everything.
Good morning. Welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Today we celebrate Earth Day with an all-ages service. It's a Story Sunday for us. I'm Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry. I'm the minister of this congregation, and I'm joined today by
Kitty Kaler.
She's our youth coordinator, and Apollo Blue, who teaches our 2nd through 5th graders, and Jim Mariner as our service associate. And Tad and Amy Austin are providing music, and you all will be providing music as well, because we'll be singing together. Our tech team today is Deborah Mensch, Herb Axe, and Larry Sherwood.
You are all welcome here today. In the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes, gifts and challenges that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here.
In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here.
In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, especially on International Lesbian
Visibility
Day, you are welcome here.
In all the ways you make your living, all the places you are from, you are welcome here.
With all the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today.
No matter how long you've been away, nor how soon until you return, you are welcome here.
Whether you come with laughter in your heart, little chitter chatters, or tears, you are welcome here.
Everyone is invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today. I'm going to invite Elena Slusser to speak with us this morning about International Lesbian Visibility Day. We love Elena. All right, can you turn yourself facing all the way around? Great.
Good morning. I am Elena Slusser and have been a member of this congregation since 2004. International Lesbian Visibility Day has been celebrated annually since 2008. I joined the Boulder UU Church in 1985 after coming out as a lesbian, realizing that this was one place where I would be accepted. After years of caution and wariness, I am now much more at ease with my identity. Changes in the law, friendliness of people, and of course, Jean's open friendliness and involvement with everyone she meets has helped that to happen. I do find, however, that whenever I am introduced to a totally new person or enter a new social group whose political and social views are unknown, I am again cautious, wary, and on guard. I experienced that sense of caution when we traveled to other states, particularly those known for discrimination on many levels. Here at the Fellowship, the atmosphere is welcoming and caring and is most of Boulder County. The presence of rainbow flags here at the Fellowship on businesses and homes throughout the area is very reassuring. I wish that there were some way we could have the option of placing small rainbow flag stickers on our name tags. I feel it would offer new visitors an additional sense of being welcome, just as our placing our pronouns on our name tags does. However, my research so far has shown that flag stickers are too large for the name tags. I appreciate this congregation, your love, your warmth, and your inclusivity. Thank you.
If you are new here, we are really glad you found us, and we hope that you experience the warmth and delight of this congregation, whether you're on Zoom or here in person today. Each Sunday is different, so come back a few times, give us a try. We have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. Those of you on Zoom will see some links in the chat to help you get connected. And those of you in person can go to the welcome table or talk to anybody after the service about the kinds of things we do. Everyone on Zoom is welcome to stay for a casual conversation following the service. And for those in the fellowship hall, you're welcome to go into, those here, you're welcome to go into the fellowship hall after the service. Let's take a little bit of time to introduce ourselves to one another. So folks on Zoom, you can use the chat to introduce yourselves and especially mention if it's one of your first times here. And those of you in the sanctuary, just take a moment to greet your neighbor. I'm going to go up and we can use that as like a preview to the fellowship time following the service. If you have a chalice at home, you can light it with me, and as a congregation, we will light our fellowship chalice. And everyone, please say the words along with me. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. And now, I'm going to sing this bowl again, and let's see how quiet we can make it in here. And then you can tell me, I want people to listen until you hear the very last bit of sound in the bowl, okay? Let's see how quiet we can make it for this bowl. And then we'll even take a couple of quiet breaths together. Everybody with me on that? Okay. Here it comes.
Good morning. I'm Jim Mariner, and this is Earth Day Sunday. And especially today we're celebrating water. For the occasion, I'd like to read a short piece that I wrote a few years ago for a writing assignment in a workshop that I was in to describe something of beauty without using all of the cliche words. So I've modified it slightly for this occasion. So I invite you to close your eyes and immerse yourself in the scene. Awakening to sunlight streaming through my tent's door flap on a brisk mountain morning has always been one of the great joys of my life. At such times, the hills are truly alive with the sound of music. Morning mist rising from a nearby lake often produces an ethereal and enchanting atmosphere with a background orchestra of melodious bird songs. Icy crystals glistening in the grass highlight a glorious world resplendent with nature's intricate creations woven elegantly into an exquisite, unified whole. That unified whole is made possible by water. Where there is water, there is life. A mantra so deeply instilled in our very existence that it is so easily taken for granted. The lake's water is not permanent. It tumbles into a valley, flowing ever downward only to be replaced by summer rains and winter snows. In its relentless quest for the sea, the water sustains us in countless ways, ever cycling, even as it continues its path to the sea. Even here, it does not find permanence as it finds its way skyward to rain or snow on my mountain again. There is no new water on earth, only water that is used and recycled, passing through living things only to be used again and again and again. Outside my tent, petite footprints in the dust near last night's campfire attest to the presence of nocturnal visitors attending to the business of life. The mice or the porcupines are not aware of the role they play in nature's grand scheme, but they will live another day, lining their nests, gathering food, and tending to their young. In fact, is this not what we are doing as well? Without water, there is no life. Or, as I prefer to say, where there is water, there is life. Now is your opportunity to write on that piece of water drop that you have on your chair, and I hope you found a pencil as well. And I invite you to write one thing that you love about water. Not that you like about water, that you love about it. And if you're on Zoom, write it on a piece of paper and put it where you can be reminded of what you've written. And you can put it also in the chat.
Would you take out your gray hymnals? And we are going to sing hymn number 123, which I know is a favorite of many. We have a very full service today. We're going to sing this one time, so let's just make it fantastic. Spirit of Life, number 123, gray hymnal. Rise in body or spirit. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Higgins, A Drop with a Dream by Christopher BVUUF. We're going to be telling this story, and there's going to be a part where you kids are going to be a part of it, so listen very carefully for some hints from Kitty when it's your turn to come help and be a part of it, all right? Once upon a time, there was a drop of water named Higgins.
Higgins was no ordinary drop of water. They were a drop with a dream.
Higgins lived in a valley where it had not rained in a very long time. So all the lovely green grass was turning brown. All the beautiful flowers were wilting and the trees were starting to droop.
Higgins had a dream that one day the valley would be a beautiful place again. But what could they do? After all, they were only a drop of water.
One day, Higgins decided to travel and tell the others about their dream. All the other drops listened very politely, but no one believed that their dream would come true.
Higgins,
Said one.
get your head out of the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming.
Higgins decided that they had to do something to make their dream come true. So they began to think and think. One day, as they were walking by an old rusty bucket, they got an idea.
If enough of us drops of water got together in the bucket,
Said Higgins.
there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers to help them grow and become beautiful again.
Eagerly, Higgins told everyone their great idea. But everyone thought they were being foolish,
That Higgins is nothing but a dreamer.
the others said.
Higgins decided they had to do something to convince the others that they were right. So they said to them,
I don't know about you, but I'm getting into the bucket. I hope some of you will join me. There might be enough water for at least some of the flowers to grow beautiful again.
So Higgins ran as hard as they could, hopped way up into the air, and landed with a kerplunk in the bottom of the bucket.
and there they sat, just a drop in the bucket.
For a long time, Higgins was very lonely. It seemed like no one else was going to join them. But after a while, some of the other drops could see that the grass was dying and the flowers were wilting and the trees were drooping. They all agreed that something must be done.
Suddenly, one drop shouted,
I'm going in the bucket with Higgins.
And they leaped through the air and landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then two other drops yelled,
Wait for us!
and they hopped through the air and landed in the bucket. Then 10 drops jumped through the air in the bucket. And then 30. Come on, adults, come on. And then 50. And then hundreds of drops came from all around just to hop in the bucket.
Soon, the bucket was completely full of water. But there were still more drops who wanted to join. So they found other buckets and hopped in. Before long, there were many buckets of water. Then 3, then 4, then 10, then hundreds, then thousands of buckets of water.
Along came, I'm looking for the powerful breeze. Along came a powerful breeze that blew over the bucket, and all the water flowed together to make a mighty stream. Stream back water. Everywhere the water flowed, turned the grass green water, and the flowers bloomed, and the trees stood tall and straight once more.
All this happened because Higgins had a dream, and their dream came true. Because Higgins knew that although they were just a drop in the bucket, enough drops in the bucket made a bucket full. And when there are enough buckets, with the wind behind them all, then justice will roll down the waters and righteousness like a mighty stream.
We are going to take the metaphor now from drops to steps. So would you open your gray hymnals to number 157, and we are going to sing through twice, step by step, the longest march. Again, hymn 157 in your gray hymnal, and would you please rise in body or spirit? Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none. Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can build an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none.
Did you like that song too? Excellent. I like that song too. We don't sing that one very often. So, where there is water, there is life. And there's a lot of life around here. There's a lot of life around here. And there's a lot of life in this state that we call Colorado. A lot of life in Colorado. For tens of thousands of years, people on the Front Range here, where the state we now call Colorado, they were hunter-gatherers, and they followed the water, because where there's life, there's water. And there was food for them there too. Further south from here, the Puebloan people created the first settlements that we know of down in this area in 550 AD, which was a very, very long time ago. And they became the cliffs that we now know of as Mesa Verde. Because they were no longer nomadic people and they actually formed settlements, they needed to catch the water. So they adapted to their environment. They learned to create some of the very first water basins, and they stored thousands of gallons of water in that area for themselves. And they also made some of the first, what we might consider dams. They were low stone, little things that stopped the water from draining when they didn't want it to drain. Now, in about 1300, after they'd been there about, 800 years, a big drought came. And the people adapted again. And they followed the water because where there's water, there's life. They followed the water down the Rio Grande River. Now, further up, more close to this area, as far back as about 1500, this land was the home of the Ute people. And they spent their summers hunting in the high country, it's over there. And then in the winter, when it got too cold, they came down to the base of the mountains because the animals came down too. They followed the animals. They hunted deer a lot, and they used to carry their belongings with them, but they would, and sometimes they had dogs with them that carried their belongings with dogs too. The Spanish arrived in about the 1800s, which is still a very long time ago. And they brought horses with them. So pretty soon the Utes could travel further distances to hunt. And they hunted deer and elk and mountain sheep and birds. And they also ate nuts and berries and other plants. And all those plants need what to live? Water. So they followed the water. The Ute are the longest continuous residents of Colorado. Pretty cool, huh? Now, you may have heard of the Arapaho and the Cheyenne tribes. They were farmers way like 1,000 or more miles away in the Great Lakes region. And in the late 1700s, they were forced out of their land by white settlers, and they migrated west to the Great Plains. With less water, they used to be farmers. With less water, they adapted and they learned to hunt buffalo. Then Hispanic and white settlers arrived in Colorado for its beauty and for gold. They needed water too, because water is life. They needed to make the water follow them, though, because they were settling to find the gold. And so in 1852, the Spaniards built what's called the People's Ditch. It was 8,000 feet up, and it supplied water going all the way down. It is the oldest irrigation system that has been in continuous use in Colorado since 1852. Now, the population grew because there was gold. So more money, more ditches were needed to move the water to the people. New settlers brought their habits from the less arid east area. Well, agriculture began to grow as the people grew. And so they began to need to feed a growing population. That needed water. More ditches and huge water projects moved waters from the mountains down to the plains to build a supply for people with water. The people learned and adapted. The Colorado Big Thomas Project was constructed between 1938 and 1957. And it ultimately included 12 reservoirs to store water for people, 35 miles of tunnels, 95 miles of canals, and 700 miles of transmission lines. I'm not even sure what those are. With that project, the people on the Front Range, which were mostly white settlers by now, could farm and grow bigger cities. Much was gained because of all those water projects, but much was lost as well. And these white settlers, they brought their habits from the less dry East Coast. Some of their habits included big houses and large lawns. And those things need a lot of water. It wasn't the kind of grass that would just grow here in the desert. So with that project, the people, with this big water project, they could continue to grow and build and big farms and bigger cities. And today, water use in Colorado has changed from primarily rural and agricultural to suburban and urban use. With growing urban areas and climate change and increasing drought conditions, the people need to adapt again. Guess what? We're those people. That's us. We need to adapt. We need to figure out how to protect water because water is life. Now, you'll have some time. Right now, I'm going to give you some time to think about how you can be water protectors. For those of you in the sanctuary, you can flip over your little water droplet and write one thing you'll do to protect water in this area. Because when you're doing that, you're protecting life. If you're on Zoom, you can write it on the other sheet of that piece of paper that you may have had and write it in the chat. And I'm going to show you some slides to give you some ideas of the few simple things you can do to be a water protector. You can fix leaky faucets inside and outside of your homes. You can buy energy efficient appliances. You can take a shorter shower. Now, I love my showers, but I could take a shorter shower. I know I could. You could consider a bath as a special treat, not as like the everyday thing you do. Baths use a lot more water than showers. You could turn the water off to brush your teeth or to shave or wash your face. You can flush the toilet less frequently. I learned this in California when I lived there. If it's yellow, make it mellow. Don't flush. You don't need to flush. And you can install low flow faucets. You can wash your clothes less frequently. We have a thing about cleanliness that I think, like culturally, that uses a lot of energy. Wash your clothes a little less frequently. You can use a front-load washing machine. I didn't know this. They use a lot less water. And you can scrape rather than rinse your dishes before putting them in the dishwasher. You can landscape with xeric plants, which means that they're like designed to be in this arid weather. You can remove your lawn, or at least water it during the cool parts of the day for longer amounts of time so that the water goes way into the roots. It's better for your plants. You can put mulch around plants and trees to capture more water. And you can plant more drought-resistant plants and trees. Here's one for the littles around us. You can save playing in the hose or the water sprinkler for like really special occasions, or for when your folks are already watering the lawn. But just playing in the sprinkler uses a lot of water. So save it for super special occasions or when it's already being watered. Yeah? What else? No, that's fine staying lit. That's okay. Thanks for checking the. It is not. But thank you for checking because it's very safe in a big container. So now, we forgot the legislatures, didn't we? Oh, I changed the slides at the last minute and I bet you downloaded them. You did. So there's a couple of other things you can do with water. You can learn about water, and you can try and push our cities and our state and our nation to do more water conservation things. And you can protest when you see water not being used well. So those are some of the things you can do with water. What else can you think of? Put it on your piece of paper, if you would.
Now we want to invite a few people to share what they love about water. If you're in the sanctuary and you would like to share, please raise your hand. And if you are on Zoom and you would like to share what you love about water, please write it in the chat and we will read out a couple. But if anybody in the sanctuary has something, please raise your hand.
All right. It gives you and me something healthy to drink.
Gives us something healthy to drink.
Taking shorter baths and showers.
So we're sharing what we love about water first. Thank you for that. We're going to ask that question in a second. Do you want to share what you love? Don't be embarrassed. It's fine.
It sustains us with life.
Sustains us with life.
It tastes really good. You wouldn't have water without, life. We wouldn't be able to have life without water, right?
Any adults? Yeah.
Water connects me strongly to my father, who taught physical geography with an emphasis on water resources at CU.
Water is one of the most ancient mysteries of this planet. Its molecular and mineral composition must be protected. The modern fluoridated and chemically added water is not good for our bodies.
Just a couple more.
I love the feeling of rain on my face.
Okay, over here. All right.
Water wouldn't exist if it wasn't for life, because water is H2O, and hydrogen would actually leave the atmosphere if life didn't exist and create the oxygen in the first place.
Beautiful. And now one more kiddo, and then we'll go to our online folks.
Save water.
Great, thank you.
So Janet loves water because it's universally refreshing.
Do another second.
And Jordy says, the smell of rain reminds me of my mother who passed, and it was her favorite smell. So now we want to invite people to share what they're going to do to protect water. So if you're in the sanctuary, once again, raise your hand. Or if you're on Zoom, write it in the chat, and we'll read out a couple.
We can save it by taking shorter baths and showers, and save baths for special occasions. Maybe you could drink less water while you're eating, if you could figure out how to.
Wait, I forgot. I forgot. Read yours? No, I forgot it.
Okay, we'll be right back to you. Go ahead, Sammy.
You can, if you forget if you forget to turn off the water when you brush your teeth, that would be better for the world.
All right, did you remember?
You can use less water for things that you want rather than things that you need.
Great. All right, let's see. I got a hand over here.
Applying compost to soil like yards and lawns not only makes soil more drought and flood resistant, but also sequesters carbon.
She wanted to say save water. Just in case you need water, just don't use too much.
Don't use too much. Thank you.
I like it.
You like, he likes it. All right. Who else? All right. We're sharing our ideas to protect water. Pardon me.
Planting native plants instead of lawns.
That sounds beautiful. Anyone else? Let's move to our online folks. Pardon me, sir.
So Anne Marie says, I am replacing my lawn with drought-tolerant grandma grass. Kathy Partridge says, I installed drip irrigation for watering my garden. Stephanie Tully says, 2 things we do. We turn off the water during a shower while scrubbing, and if a human doesn't finish a glass of water, we use it to water plants or fill the dog's water bowls rather than pouring it down the drain. And Deborah says, I don't water my grass much, so the varieties that do well with less water have come to dominate my lawn, and I'll wait until May or June to start watering so the grass stays dormant. And if you would still like to share, but not so publicly, we will have 2 posters in the fellowship hall where you can write down. One of them will be for the things you love about water, and the other will be for ways you can protect water. And those will be there for a couple days if you're on Zoom and you want to come add the posters. And then we'll take pictures and send them out in the weekly.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
you. Each week we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. Today, the half plate is for the UU Ministry for Earth. UU Ministry for Earth is your go-to source for actions, tools, stories, and connection to the global environment justice movement. UUMFE focuses on climate change, ecology, rights of nature, frontline solidarity, food justice, social justice, and human rights and sustainability, using a racial and economic justice-informed framework of environmental justice. You can text your donation at the number on the screen, or if you are at the fellowship today, place a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously as you so often do.
for the work of this fellowship, and for the work of the UU Ministry for Life. We dedicate our efforts and our offerings. Now I'm going to invite us into our time of community sharing, our time of connection with one another. If you're on Zoom and you'd like to share a joy and concern, please write it in the chat, and we'll read those at the end, and Jim will put a stone in our sacred waters on your behalf. And anybody here in person who would like to share a joy or a concern, just come up over here to the left of our table and briefly share your joy or concern. You can tell us your name and where you live, whoever is sharing. And I'd like you to add 2 more stones for me, if you would. One is for all of the warring places in the world, which seem to be increasing now, for the people of Sudan, for the people of Palestine, for the people in Ukraine. May all of them find moments of peace and a sense of safety in their lives and for their families. And the second is for all of those joys and concerns that remain in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, knowing that even in our silence, we are bound together in the web of life. Ah, wow. Oh, he helped make, wow. That is so cool. I had no idea we had someone here that is related to someone in part of the story that I told about all the dams that were made in Colorado. That is so impressive. Wow. He died. He died a long time ago if he was a great-great-granddad, right? Yeah, death is a part of this beautiful life we live, right? Death is a part of life. So, beloveds, here we are gathered, all ages together, celebrating the beauty of life. Celebrating our 90-year-olds, sharing about Lesbian Day of Visibility, and our little bitty ones chattering away here. This is life. This is the beauty of life. This is the preciousness of life. This and our connection to all of creation, all the water that flows in cycles, not only through the world, but through our own bodies. What a precious gift. What a precious gift to be together in our joys and in our sorrows, and in the beauty of the world that surrounds us. No matter how challenging our lives can be, let us remember to reach out when we need support and to look for the preciousness, the joy, and the beauty that also resides within, among, and beyond us. May this be our promise and our prayer. Blessed be.
Let's sing together one more time in the teal hymnal this time. Number 1074, Turn the World Around. Because individually or collectively, we can make differences in the world. So teal hymnal, number 1074, and would you please rise in body or in spirit?
Amy, I have one more thing to add to your introduction. Can we all turn to page 6 of this song, look at page 6. Turn the world around -6. So this is the final refrain. Now notice we have this, whoa, so is life a body wah. And look at that little ha in parentheses. I feel that oftentimes when we do this song, that ha gets shortchanged. So I really want us to make a concerted effort with all your joy and power of exclamation. Let's just practice this one little bit here. First, can I just get a solid ha? 1, 2, 3, ha! Now let's practice getting into it. Whoa! And then if you need to not sing something that comes before to make sure you get that ha on time, that's okay. So here's right at the whoa and whoa, so is life a batiwa. Ha! Good, you're ready.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Oh, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do you know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do you know who we are? Oh, so is life a patiwa. So is life. Whoa, so is life a patiwa. So is life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Water the water, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. Whoa, so is life a batiwa. Ha! So is life. Good. Whoa, so is life a batiwa. So is
Again.
Whoa, so is life a batiwa. Ha! So is life. Whoa, so is life a batiwa. So is life.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Woo! I have a few announcements. First, we want to hear from Sherry Price, who's going to talk to us about our Green Sanctuary movement here in the congregation.
Hello. Hi there.
Good morning. My name is Sherry. I'm here to introduce the UUA's and the Fellowship's Green Sanctuary Program. Global warming has caused a worldwide climate change. It is the existential threat to the human race and the entire web of life. It is the most important justice issue of our lifetimes. Back in 1989, the UUA created the Green Sanctuary Program. It's changed over time. The program is bottom up, which means we identify and carry out activities that are meaningful to us here, personally, locally, regionally, nationally. The focus we choose as individuals and as groups can be about reducing the causes of global warming, or we can choose to look at ways to adapt to the effects of climate change, or we can expand our existing relationships with marginalized communities who are the most impacted by climate change. Climate change has no single cause, no single solution, no perfect solution. And it looks like right now it's got no end. But there are things we can do that we can all do to make a difference. That's why it's a bottoms-up program. It's from our own lives and our own passions that we create our green sanctuary. Love and spirituality are our blue boat. It will carry us forward. To paraphrase Maya Angelou, I don't always remember the overwhelming statistics of loss, but I do remember how they make me feel. Please join me in the fellowship after the service if you care to carry on this discussion and go forward with Green Sanctuary 2030. Thank you.
Sherry, I want to just thank you for your ongoing commitment to this work, and also to the others in the congregation. We have so many people here who have really put environmentalism first in how we built this building and now how we are living in the building. So thank you so much for everybody who's doing their part. And today at 11:30, Scott Yeomans will lead a session here in the sanctuary about General Assembly and our proposed new UU values. He'll be answering questions. There's financial support if you're interested in going to General Assembly in Pittsburgh. And also we're submitting an action of immediate witness about the situation in Ukraine. And so there's lots that we're percolating to bring to our national body at the end of June. The last Path to Membership class for this year is going to be Saturday, April 29th from 10 to 11:30, and it's on Zoom. Zoomies, there's something going in the chat if you'd like to sign up for Path to Membership, and roomies can go and sign up at the welcome table. It is a good way just to meet in a smaller group of people and learn more about the fellowship and decide whether membership is right for you at this time. I want to remind you that there are beautiful boards that Karen Griglack made for you to write what you love about water and to write what you will do about water, so we can be collecting them like a bucket and inspiring each other with all of our actions. So please do that for those of you in here who are in Fellowship Hall. It'll be up for a week, so y'all can keep it. If other people come in, if you're a Zoomie and come in during the week, you can write on it. And now I'm going to invite you to rise in body or spirit and hold hands or touch elbows or touch shoulders with the person next to you while we extinguish our chalice. Thank you very much for the reminder. If you don't want to, for whatever reason, just cross your arms like that. Okay, we're getting back into this. This was like the before times thing we did, right? So let's extinguish the chalice together. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And I will hold hands with our Zoomies, imagining that you are with us, knowing that you're with us actually, just in a very different way. And let us all go forth united as one community, united as protectors of water and of the earth, united in love and justice. Blessed be. Amen.